Good evening, everyone. Well, yeah, that's me. The thing popped up again. Andy, what? Am I not good enough to be on camera? Like, what is going on here?
Sorry about that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Limit Live at 5. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. You remember, I just sort of mentioned this morning as we were doing the Hot Topic show, and I said, if the biggest scandal, this is a big scandal, just sort of jokingly. Okay. And then, I was away for the Memorial Weekend, hopped in the car. Tim is driving. I'm dealing with the dogs, and I could use a nap. It's been whatever. And hi, Gonzales, Louisiana. What's happening, Lakeisha? So I'm flipping through, and I'm going through the news stations and the talk stations and conservative radio. And the biggest scandal on conservative radio is, you want to guess? I'll give you guys 3 guesses. What the biggest scandal on conservative radio is. And the shit that they were saying about it, I was like, now, are they actually talking about Donald Trump, or are they talking about Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron? Yes. Thank you, MJ. You got it. This so-called slap. Now, for a better word, this is a face smoosh. Okay? This is a face smush. Hi, Canada. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Virginia. Thank you for joining us. The French president, Kim Coleman, you're right. That is the biggest scandal in conservative media. And that's how you know all of this shit is a distraction, because by the way, since I last joined you, I think the Trump family, it is safe to say, has made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars off of the presidency. Okay, pretty safe to say. Reportedly, allegedly. How about that? And so, I started listening to it, and I'm listening. Tim's driving, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm starving. And he's like, well, your favorite place is coming up, your favorite hamburger. And I'm like, pull into that drive-through. Smoosh is right, says Kathleen Chapin. Yes. So we pull into the Burger King drive-through with the dogs. They go crazy. You go through the drive-through because they know somehow food. Oh my gosh, give me some. I just want one French fry, Dad. I just want one French fry. Okay. So I'm listening. And then, I'm sort of used to it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the biggest thing. And I'm sitting there listening and flipping through and also reading texts and emails and trying to do some stuff. And Tim is like, is this for real? Like, is this not, are you listening to like a joke station? And I'm like, no. Got the Whopper Jr., Tom. You're right. I got a Whopper Jr. meal. Sure did. I had like 2 onion rings and like 2 French fries. And then the rest, I ate the entire Whopper Jr. No cheese. Cut in half. I know. Look, you can eat pretty much whatever you want. You just have to do it in moderation. So instead of getting a giant Whopper, I got a Whopper Jr. And then I just don't eat everything. That's it. That's what I do. Okay. So you would think, with everything that's going on in the world, some incident that happened, first of all, he's not our president. It did not happen in the United States. I think they were in Vietnam or something where they were. It didn't happen in the United States. And now it's like the biggest scandal. One woman on the radio was saying, well, her makeup is too dark and it makes her orange, and she has the wrong foundation on. Her foundation should not be so orange. And I'm like, is she talking about Donald Trump? The nerve of this conservative station that carries Donald Trump's water is complaining about someone with orange makeup. I was like, wait, what? And Tim said, this is why people are tuning out. We have been like watching the numbers in media, watching the numbers on even here on YouTube and everywhere. Like, people tune out in the summer, but it appears like people start to tune out because they're like, I don't know, they're bombarded with bullshit. So this woman is actually, I think it was Dana Lash. And if it wasn't Dana, I'm sorry, but I think it was Dana Lash on a conservative radio station. And she's saying, her foundation is too orange. And I'm like, well, Donald Trump's foundation is too orange. And then she said, their age gap, they're 25 or 20 some years apart. And I said, well, and when he was in high school and she was blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you know how old Melania is and how old Donald Trump is? Like, what? is crazy to me. It is. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? And you're right. Why are the likes so low? We got so many people watching us. What's up with the likes, people? Hit the thumbs up. Okay, so here is the slap, or I call it a face smoosh, is what it is. And the people who are commenting on this are doing it, either they're doing it intentionally, right? Or they have never been in a relationship. And I don't mean like a fake relationship. I mean a real relationship where you're happy and you play with someone or you whatever. Here's a smush, face smush. Oh, we missed the first one, Andy. Play it back from the beginning. Here's the face smush. Now watch in slow-mo. It's both of her hands. It's not just one, so it's not a slap. It's not a slap. So she's like pushing him or whatever. And though he's like, oh shit, honey, do you know the press is out there and they just saw what you did to me? You don't know if she's pissed. Come on, people. You guys don't know that. You have no idea. It's a face shove. I'm telling you. My mom would do that to my dad. I said this morning, get out of here while I'm getting dressed. Don't worry about my face if I'm putting on makeup. You get out of here. Worry about your own face. Now go. They weren't playing, period. I don't believe that. He's not smiling. Oh my God, you guys. This is why people... Come on. She said, don't make me whatever. Okay, fine. Anyways, so I believe them. Do you think it wasn't playful? I believe them. And look at his face. That is hilarious, though. Look at his face. That is hilarious. Whoa! Ooh. It is hilarious. There's a couple playing. Now, look. Now imagine there is a double standard, right? Because if he had done that to his wife, all hell would be breaking loose right now. Oh my gosh, domestic abuse, domestic violence, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like going, why are they making up all of this shit about this one moment? Now, would they be doing that? I don't know. Would the left be doing it if Melania Trump had done it? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But to me, it looks playful. To me, it wasn't like a pow or a poom or get your ass out of here. It was I don't care, whatever. Anyways, so slow news day. Karen, you're right, but that's why I was shocked when I saw it. Now, what shall we play first? And I'm wondering so what is the whole conspiracy? Why is there so much conspiracy and why is there so much hoopla or uproar around this? And it is because there are many conspiracy theories, there are a few huge conspiracy theories as it relates to this president and this first lady. First of all, this is not a conspiracy theory, but they did get together young, and people are like, whoa, wow. He was in high school, I believe, and she was a teacher, okay? She was in high school. He was a teacher. Now, the ladies of The View had a very interesting conversation about this. You tell me what you think. If you agree, don't agree, or what. Everybody has an opinion about it. We don't know what. I don't like to get in other people's business. If they said it was a fun smoosh, face smoosh, then fine. They're grown-ass people in a real relationship. Okay? Here it is.
President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte were about to exit a plane in Asia this weekend as cameras caught her hands all over his face. Now, Macron told reporters the incident is being overblown by the media. They were fooling around and squabbling and joking around.
I bet it's true. I mean, they have an odd relationship. She's 24 years older than him. Now, I like a younger guy, but, especially if they can drive at night. But this is really a big difference. Although if it was the reverse and the man was 24 years older, no one would
Trump is 24 years older than Melania.
Thank you, Anna Navarro.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm saying that. I'm making that point.
They also met. Okay,
but when it's the wife...
I'm going to lead with due respect to our French allies, and I've met Emmanuel Macron and think he's a great player on the world stage, but they have an odd relationship. He was a student, she was a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd fly in America, or it'd at least get a lot more scrutiny how the relationship came about. Now, they seem to have had a very healthy marriage as far as I can see to date. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I will say if the roles were reversed and you saw a man come for a woman's face like that, I would be at the front of the line picketing, saying this is inappropriate and no one should touch
Until you
someone.
found out the truth.
Yeah.
You would want to know before you did that.
Well, and what happens after this exchange is he offers
Paul,
her
here's the
his
thing, though.
hand, and
So here's the thing that people jump to conclusions all the time, which is one thing. Look, and don't come at me for this, which is one reason I believe that the left and the right has taken advantage of it, has lost many people in the country, because everything is, a break the glass moment. They go from 0 to 100 immediately. Everything that involves a woman is Harvey Weinstein. Every interaction involves people. When the truth is, people actually do meet at work. Most people meet their spouses at work. At least they did in the old days, and they can't now. And people are complaining, well, I'm a single woman, I'm a single man, or whatever. Where are you most of the time? At work. So I've always thought that, hey, look, you guys need to sort of reevaluate this whole thing about if someone asks you out at work, immediately it's not a fireable offense unless they continue to do it and it becomes harassment. And so a woman who's playing around with her husband and smoosh facing him is not necessarily domestic abuse. It's like, stop jumping to conclusions about things. You take it from 0 to 100 immediately. And if a man did that to a woman, okay, it would be suspect. Now, what if she said, hey, look, that's how we play around. He smush faced me. They would be like, oh my God. Is that if she's cool with it, then how is that your business? How is that your business? But what she said is right. You would immediately jump to conclusions. Someone says she was his teacher when he was 15. Okay. Now you don't come for me, but Europeans and people who live in other places have a different idea about these things than Americans. We're so puritanical. They met when they were 15. Were they dating? I don't know. Was it because I have no idea what was going on? But the age of consent in France is different than it is here. Again, not making excuses. That is just the fact. I think, Peter, what is it? What is the age of consent in France? Is it 15 or 16? I forget what it is.
I believe it's 15.
It's 15. Okay. I'm just saying, people have different sensibilities in other places. Doesn't mean that I agree with it. And it doesn't mean that it is right in America. In America, okay, that would be problematic. But apparently in France, people just don't give a shit. They didn't give a shit enough of a shit to not elect him president and make her first lady. Maybe they're just like, look, I'm going to let these people live because they're grown people and they've been married for a long time. And hey, ain't my business. Should we be adopting that attitude here? Would we be better off to live and let live and to not judge everything, to go from 0 to 100 and think the worst about every single situation, that every single situation is different and should be judged on its own merit? I don't know what was in their relationship. I have no idea. But I do know that my mom was married at 16. I do know that people in my family were married young. They did it young down south. Am I saying it's wrong? No, but people have different sensibilities about things. Every smush in the face is not domestic abuse. Every smush in the face is not a conspiracy theory. Every couple who, like, maybe they have a playful relationship where the man smacks the woman on the ass, like, hey, baby, while she's cooking. And she's like, daddy, whatever. Is that domestic abuse? No, it's a slap. But is it domestic abuse? No, that's how they interact. I'm just saying. And I know this makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it is the truth. The people of France knew all of this before they elected him president. They did not give a shit because they are different than we are. A man was mushed in the face. Who cares? Jazz and laughter. Amen. 150%. What is the big deal? someone else's standard for living or what they do in their home or in their bedroom or whatever, it may not appeal to you. You may think it's wrong, but it ain't your business. Emmanuel Macron may like a little mush in the face. That may be why they have been together for so long, that he's like, hey, baby, mush me in the face. I love it. That ain't your business. Get out of their business. And maybe, I'm just saying, maybe she likes a little mush in the face. She's like, Daddy, mush me. And he's like, yeah, Mommy, mush me in the face. I'm just saying, stay out of people's business. Look at the New York Post. Sorry. Let me finish the view, because I think they make very good points here and what happened after that, because this takes us to the whole conspiracy theory of things. Here it is.
She doesn't take it. So the joking narrative is sweet. I mean, we won't ever know what's going on here, but I
can tell you why she won't take his hand.
Why?
Because she doesn't want to look like she can't come down the stairs.
Or that, but there's versions. But the thing is that, Joy,
Whoopi, speak your truth. Speak your truth, Whoopi. And also, if you take someone's hand, sometimes you think you're helping people, but I think like she would be perhaps more stable if he just stood next to her and then hand on the rail. You know, that same thing happened to me with Tim's mom. We were leaving the graduation and I was going down the stairs in front of her. And instead of on the side of her, and then I said, well, this doesn't really balance her if she like fell steep stairs. And I said, if I got in front of her, then she could balance herself. And if she fell, she would fall against me and I can help her, right? Not that she's like a woman who needs it, but I'm just saying, I was just being a gentleman. So like, and then you don't, that, and there's an older person who's okay with being an older person, right? And she knows that I'm trying to help her. But Emmanuel Macron's wife, because of all the hoopla around her, she's older than him. She doesn't want people to think, and I believe Whoopi has a point there, that she is helpless and she can't get herself down the stairs, because that only feeds into the narrative. Keep going.
We just got through saying how much older he is than she is.
She is than he is.
Right. Whatever. Well, see how much I'm listening.
Well, but there's also like a power dynamic here. Take away the gender of each person and just look at the fact that if you've been met since they met when he was 15 years old, and his parents thought that he liked her daughter, and then sent him away to school to separate them, and then asked her to stop seeing their son. And she said, I can't make promises. And then eventually all this stuff happens. I'm just saying there is an interesting power dynamic here that could be
what does any of that have to do with this?
Well, power, if you're hitting someone in the face, I mean, or grabbing.
I'm sorry, what I saw, and maybe I'm crazy, but I saw someone doing this. Come here. Let me move you.
I did not see that. I saw embarrassment.
That's what I saw.
Okay,
I saw
what I saw was
his face.
a flight attendant who was like, I want no part of this. The flight attendant is like, no. But last year,
they had just come off of a 16-hour flight.
So she was
to Vietnam.
Maybe she was hungry.
Maybe they were just,
that's why this kind of stuff bothers me, because people make decisions about stuff they don't know anything about.
Yeah, but listen.
And because having been on the other side of this, I find it intrusive. And because no one ever says, well, what happened? And when you say, this is what happened, we're fooling around and we're whatever, people don't take you at your word. And so for me, I find it, it's uncomfortable.
Well, I know.
Okay, listen, let's stop it right there. Here's the thing. Whoopi, thank you very much. Because as someone who is in the public eye and had people all in your business when they don't know what's going on, making up shit about you when you're like, no, that story is actually not true, 100% made up. Well, there's got to be some truth to it. No, there's absolutely no truth to it. Well, Don Lemon is lying about it. Like, people don't take people at their word. Okay, the man said it was a smoosh face. What does it have to do with anything? And by the way, look, again, what I would say to Sarah is like, Sarah, that's France. They didn't give a shit enough of what happened to the woman, however they met or whatever. Fine, that's in the past. Do you know how many years ago that is? Emmanuel Macron is 47 years old? So apparently, whatever it was, when people call these moments, whether you want to call it a Me Too or whatever, the only difference between, I believe, people in America think is a Me Too, because there are a lot of people at work, if you want to talk about Me Too, but when it works out, it's not a Me Too. There are plenty of people who are in the workplace. There are plenty of people who are on television today that if it did not work out, it would have been a Me Too situation. but apparently they ended up getting married and all those things. I'm just saying. Is it a big deal? Now, I want to do the ad break, but I want to tell you about this. This is bigger than just the smoosh gate, okay? Smoosh face gate. This is way bigger than that. And it does bring up issues, I believe, about women and men and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and also issues about gender. Because there are some crazy, crazy conspiracy theories that are going on, okay? But I want to take a moment now to bring you a word from our sponsors. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Shopify, all right? So look, the origins of this show, as I tell you all the time, the origins were just a dream for me to own a business, to start my own channel, the Don Lemon channel, the Don Lemon Network. And here it is today. You are listening to the fulfillment or culmination of the realization of my dream. Starting your own business is a dream lots of us share, but too many of us let it remain a dream. Don't hold yourself back thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into what nots with Shopify by your side. I love that sound. Thank you, Shopify, for that sound. Shopify is a commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. Okay? So as we start our merch store, which will happen soon, I keep saying it, I know it's going to happen soon, we're going to use Shopify for our e-commerce store. It's going to be our site to help us build this thing. So if you're worried about people not hearing about your brand, Shopify can help you find customers with easy to run email and social media campaigns. You can get help 24 hours. They have 24-hour award-winning customer service if you get stuck. So turn your dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. You got to put that lemon in there. Shopify.com/lemon. Shopify.com/lemon. Turn your dreams into ka-ching. So this was a big holiday weekend, right? The start of the summer. And guess what I did? It was a lot of fish, okay? So support for today's show also comes from Wild Alaskan Company, the Wild Alaskan Company. The last time that you truly trusted seafood, right? Because people worry about all of the things that are put in seafood, considering what's in the ocean right now, all of those things, too much iodine, all of those things. Well, guess what? You can actually trust all of the fish, all of the things that are coming from Wild Alaskan Company, okay? Wild Alaskan Company is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly proportioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. Trust me, you have not tasted fish this good. I ate it all weekend. Some of it you can just throw. Look, I threw it in, what do you call the thing? Like the fast toaster oven or whatever, that thing, the quick toaster. I did that. I threw it in the oven. You can sear it, all of it. It was just delicious right out of the pack. And it's in proportions so that you don't have to thaw out way more than you're going to eat. You get to decide, oh, this comes in this pack and this is enough for me and someone else or for a family. So it's very good with that, okay? Wild Alaskan is 100% wild caught, never farmed. That means there are no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Their fish is frozen right off the boat to lock in the taste, the texture, and the nutrients like omega-3s. Wild caught from Alaska, every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and truly feel-good seafood, okay? My favorite is cod. I've been telling you guys that the entire time. Not all fish are the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for supporting this episode. Back to the craziness that is happening in the world. Again, now, look, there are important things that I'm going to point out, but I also have to point out distractions sometime. Okay? So that was The View. By the way, Emmanuel Macron did respond to that. I want to play this, and then I'm going to talk about the conspiracy theories that will rile you. Here it is. Emmanuel Macron responding to Smooshgate.
Une vidéo, beaucoup de bêtises. Sur ces 3 vidéos, j'ai ramassé un Kleenex, serré la main à quelqu'un et juste plaisanté avec mon épouse comme on le fait assez souvent. Moi, ça fait 3 semaines. Si vous faites l'agenda international du président de la République française, de Kiev à Tirana jusqu'à Hanoï, il y a des gens qui ont regardé des vidéos et qui pensent que j'ai partagé un sac de cocaïne, que j'ai fait un mano à mano avec un président turc et que là maintenant je suis en train d'avoir une scène de ménage avec ma femme. Rien de tout ça n'est vrai, pourtant ces 3 vidéos sont vraies. Donc il faut que tout le monde se calme et surtout s'intéresse au fond de l'actualité. Voilà.
Everyone focus on the real news. Yes, there was a saying something about him and drugs, right? The Coca-Cola. There was also one about a fake meeting that never happened or something. And then there's one about the smoosh gate. And he's like, people need to focus on the real news. And I don't disagree with him. Now, here's why I think these sort of conspiracy theories and these things are, get the right so angered. And look, the far right and the far left are kind of almost in the same place on this, except the far left are not making up. They're not going along with this. Brigitte Macron is a man thing. That's what they're saying, that Brigitte Macron is transgender. But they're also saying, oh my gosh, this is abuse, whatever. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. So this is why I think people on the right are looking for a conspiracy theory or something so that they can bring this up or that they can somehow denigrate, belittle Macron and his relationship with an older woman. Candace Owens, this is a conspiracy theory that launched thousands of dollars for conservatives over the last couple of months. Here it is.
Time for you to wake up. So we will start from the top here with a photo of Brigitte Macron. Real name, Jean-Michel Trogneau. That person that you are looking at on the right is not a woman. Okay? Here is a photo, by the way. Just over the years, Jean-Michel Trogneau, as he became Brigitte, as I said, the evidence for this is overwhelming. That second photo, I believe they found a photo of him at a pride parade when he was just living as a homosexual man. That next photo is when the transition began, if I recall correctly, and that's a photo from the professor years. And the professor years of Brigitte Macron is when he statutorily Emmanuel Macron. Those are not the prerequisites, by the way. Like to becoming a leader of a world country, you got to like be in drama class like Zelensky. You got to be a homosexual like a lot of them tend to be. And are the new prerequisites that you need to have something in your closet like this and the entire state is going to work feverishly to protect the secret?
You guys get it now? Because I'm sure a lot of you have not heard about it because you don't, I don't blame you. You don't swim in the treacherous conspiracy theory, lying waters of right-wing media streamers, wackadoos. She is saying that Bridget, and has been saying for a while, and look, I choose not to put some of this stuff on, but because of this, I'm doing it. Someone, same thing about Michelle Obama. Thank you very much. They call Michelle Obama out of her name. They call her a man, give her a man's name. They take her name and they make it the man's version of that name. Crazy shit. You're right. They say that about Michelle Obama too. Crazy shit, says Kathy Terry. Okay, so this is the same. The flat earthers. You're right, Michelle. So these are the conspiracy theories. Someone says Candace Owens has receipts. Candace Owens has no receipts. That is Brigitte. So there's basically, Candace Owens is saying that Brigitte Macron was a boy that transitioned into a woman or a female, a male that transitioned to a female, and that using pictures of Brigitte Macron's brother and saying, look how she changed, and because they look alike. Well, if you put up pictures of me and my siblings, sometimes I will look like my sister or my sister will look like me with a wig on because we are siblings. And siblings tend to look alike. And there is a lot of, you're right, Melissa Dunmore, a lot of transphobia on the right. I mean, she's even had people on the right back her up, like Tucker Carlson. Here it is.
Emmanuel Macron, President of France's wife, was accused first by French journalists and then by my friend Candace Owens, who's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, she's
very
incredible.
smart.
She's incredible.
And everyone's always, Candace Owens a hater. Candace Owens is the opposite of a hater, but she's a very kind person. But she comes out and she's like, I will wager my professional credibility on the claim that Macron's wife is actually a man. And I was like, Candace Owens, I love you, but I think this is too crazy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out she's right.
Yeah.
What is so? Can you just explain? My mind is blown.
By the way, her brother saying that she's a man named John. Brigitte Macron's brother, John, died in 2019, I believe it is. Okay. This is from Snopes, who investigated this. Snopes confirming that Macron is not trans. No, France First Lady Brigitte Macron isn't trans. This rumor, first peddled in 2021 during President Emmanuel Macron's campaign for re-election, later spread all across the world. Keep going. As the Paris Olympics began the summer of 2024, social media users once again claimed France's First Lady Brigitte Macron was born a man. Late July, X users shared the two. There you go. Second video of Macron walking beside her husband, which Macron with a white dress, and showed a soft fold appeared between her waist, with the X user implying that it was the mark of male genitals. Now, how many times have you guys seen this bullshit about Michelle Obama? How many times have you seen this bullshit about Michelle Obama? And no matter how many times you put up pictures of Melania, who sometimes has man face, or some of the folks who are on the right, who are in these streaming spaces, who look trans to me. I don't say that they're trans, but I'm like, wow, you look trans. Like if I met you, I would think that you're a trans woman. But they have the biggest conspiracy theories about trans, and you guys know who I'm talking about. But that they do this about Michelle Obama. The same thing about Michelle Obama. This is a fact check from French News. Here it is. Here's the video. In a second, we'll get it. There it is. Right.
False rumors that Brigitte Macron is transgender circulating again. The debunked conspiracy theory that the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron was born a biological man and transitioned to become a woman has been pushed many times in recent years. On Friday, far-right American commentator Candace Owens released a video titled Becoming Brigitte, an Introduction. In it, she rehashes the claim that Brigitte Macron was born a man and went by the name Jean-Michel Trogneux. She also claims to be the target of a legal threat from the French president.
When I said that I would stake my entire professional career on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the current First Lady of France, was born a man, there were many people, of course, who did not believe me because that just sounds crazy.
Owens offers no evidence to back this up and says this will be the first in a series investigating Brigitte Macron. The video has more than 2.5 million views on YouTube and has also been released on other platforms, including Spotify. A slew of viral posts on X have since popped up repeating the claim, but it is not true. The conspiracy theory has been floating around since Emmanuel Macron was first elected in 2017. It was then pushed by self-described journalist Natasha Ray. She claimed that Brigitte never existed and that her brother Jean-Michel had changed gender and started using that name. Ray was interviewed by Amandine Roy, a self-proclaimed spiritual medium, for a YouTube video in 2021, and the false theory went viral before the 2022 presidential election. This led Brigitte Macron to file a libel complaint, and in September, the pair were ordered by a French court to pay €8,000 in damages to her and €5,000 to her brother. Emmanuel Macron also commented on the claims for the first time last year, saying there are still some crazies out there.
So there you go. Look, it's all a scam. Now, do you guys remember, too, because what goes around comes around. Do you guys remember when they were whipping out Candace Owens' childhood, pics and that she looked like a boy. And they were saying, wait a minute, is Candace Owens, who keeps accusing everybody of being trans and who's so transphobic, is she? Now, I'm not saying that she is, but what goes around comes around. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is good for the gander. Now, look, have you guys ever seen Lady Boys? Have you guys ever seen some of the folks who are, I'm just saying, some of the people who are first ladies wear a lot of makeup, and boy, I would sometimes bet my life on it that, whoa, is that a lady boy? You think Michelle Obama is a man? Please, honey, you need to travel. I'm just saying here. Lots of conspiracy theories. This is the Babylon Bee poking fun at this slap. The Babylon Bee poking fun at the slap, saying Biden, Macron team up to form support group for battered and abused world leaders. That is, I think, the right's version of The Onion. Oh boy, what have we come through? And then someone said you have JD Vance and all the makeup. Yeah, that's where we are. So look, everybody, stop getting all up in people's business, because there's a lot of shade and a lot of tea to go around of just about everybody. So if you don't want people talking shit about you, you don't want people talking shit about your wife, that she doesn't hold your hand, that she wears so much makeup, that she looks like a lady boy, then you should not be talking about somebody else's wife. Or if you're on that side of the fence. If you're on the right side, don't talk shit about on the left and say that people are men. Okay? Because you need to travel to see what some of these women in foreign countries look like. You just might say, whoa, that looks a lot like somebody I know. That's for people who just don't know stuff. I see you guys are talking about the breaking news. I get it. I know what you're saying. Is that really worthy of this? Okay, so let me take a break here, because I want to tell you about a story that is really important, and that is the distraction of it all. So I just want to take and get a word from our sponsors, and I'm going to get the next story in. The next really, really, really important story here. Okay, so support for the Don Lemon Show comes from MSI United States. Women are facing a major crisis all over the world. Okay, cuts to foreign aid for modern, safe contraception are putting lives in jeopardy. You guys know how much money has been taken away, all of the funds from USAID, etc. But there is this organization, it's called MSI Reproductive Choices. It's an international charity that has been providing vital care to women in 36 countries for years. MSIUnitedStates.org is the website where you can find out more. They've launched the Choice Emergency Fund, and they did it to replace USAID funding cuts. Women and girls, please support them. They are counting on regular people like you to help them. Why does this matter? Well, contraception helps girls stay in school. It helps women's economic power, and it helps create a healthier lives for families. Here's something that I didn't know. 257 million women can't access the contraception that would put them in control of their lives. Imagine that. No access to contraception because you live too far from a health center, or just because you cannot afford it. I'm also seeing that that MSI can provide a woman with contraception for a whole year for just $6.50, everyone. You can give a woman a year of freedom from worry for just $6.50, and that's real impact. So go to MSIUnitedStates.org and give, or you can just text LEMON to my last name to 511-511. To be clear, that's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed, MSIUnitedStates.org. Or again, you can just text LEMON to 511-511. And it also says right here that the MSI has great ratings with Charity Navigator and with Candid, and that 94% of your gift goes to charitable activities. MSIUnitedStates.org, or text LEMON to 511-511. Text fees may apply. Also, support for today's show comes from Z-Biotics. Now, I got to tell you, this is a game-changing product that I use before I have a couple of drinks before I go out, and it's called a pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists who tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. It is that buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration. As everyone says, you got to drink water. That is to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and then you'll feel better the next morning, all day. I use it this weekend. Thank you very much. My margaritas did not have me having a rough day the next day. So here's what you do. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon to learn more and get 15% off of your first order when you use lemon at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they're going to refund your money. No questions asked. Okay? So remember, head to zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code lemon at checkout for 15% off. So thank you to all of our sponsors today. Let me tell you guys, it is a game changer. If you don't want to have that rough day the next morning, the next day, I'm telling you, you guys try it and drink it before you have your first drink. Game changer. Game changer. Okay, so let's put this up, please. This is a story of, I think, utter importance. I don't know if you guys, let me just give you a little bit about this. You can put that up. White House is stunned at Hegseth inquiry bringing up illegal wiretap claims. Now, do you guys, let me take you back in the memory machine. Do you guys remember back in the memory machine when the Trump campaign and then later the administration claimed for I think it was a couple of years, the Obama White House, the Obama administration is spying. It has been spying on the Trump campaign. Do you guys remember that? Do you get that? Do you guys remember that? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe the Obama administration. They are spying on Trump. Trump said it so many times. Let me just take you back in the memory machine. And now here is the Pete Hegseth of it all again, according to these reports, that he has gotten himself into a Spygate. Thank you very much. You guys remember it, that he's gotten himself into trouble again because of his incompetence and his lack of qualifications to be in public office and to hold a position of this importance, of this magnitude, to hold a position of this magnitude and to be so just ill-equipped for it is just outrageous. Okay? So here we go. White House is stunned as Pete Hegseth inquiry brings up illegal wiretaps. This is an exclusive. Trump advisors lose confidence in Pentagon leak investigation Hegseth used to justify firing 3 top aides. Okay, so he fired all of these top aides, or these top aides, a number of them, and then what he used for justification just is not panning out. It has not panned out. And now the Trump folks are going, wait a minute here. Wait one damn minute here. So here's what happened, okay? So then he's using, they're like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? And then come to find out he uses spying or wiretapping as some of the evidence. And they're like, wait, no, whoa. Don't do that. That's even worse. The White House has lost confidence in Pentagon leak investigation that Hegseth used to justify firing 3 top aides last month after advisors were told that the aides had supposedly been outed by an illegal warrantless National Security Agency, NSA wiretap. Oh, no. This isn't the right complaining about wiretaps or using allegedly wiretaps after accusing the Obama administration of wiretapping them illegally. Really? Huh. The extraordinary explanation alarmed the advisors, who also raised it with people close to J.D. Vance, because such a wiretap would almost certainly be unconstitutional and an even bigger scandal than a number of leaks. And why do people leak? People don't leak just because, oh my gosh, I'm just going to leak because I'm going to leak. It's because usually you're doing some shit that's outlandish and outrageous, or you're not qualified. But the advisors found the claim to be untrue and complained that they were being fed dubious information by Hegseth's personal lawyer, Tim Palator, who had been tasked with overseeing the investigation. The episode is recounted by 4 people familiar with the matter and marked the most extraordinary twist in the investigation, examining the leak of an allegedly top-secret document that outlined options for the U.S. military to reclaim the Panama Canal to a reporter. Alicia Bigelow says, how long will Hegseth's incompetence be tolerated? Alicia, that is a very good question. Because most people by now, including me, I thought that he would have been gone by now because he is on thin ice. Or he should be. The advisors were stunned again when Palator denied having told anyone an illegal NSA wiretap himself and maintained that any information he had was passed on to him by others at the Pentagon. The leak was first attributed internally to Hegseth's senior advisor, Dan Caldwell, who was escorted out of the Pentagon and fired last month alongside 2 other aides, Hegseth's former deputy chief of staff, Darren Selnick, and the Deputy Defense Secretary, Chief of Staff, Colin Carroll. But these illegal wiretap claims fueled a breakdown in trust between the Pentagon and the White House, where the Trump advisors tracking the investigation had privately suggested they no longer have any idea about who or what to believe. They don't know what to believe as it relates to Pete Hegseth. Hegseth leaves when Trump leaves, says Evelyn Dawkins. Now, is Hegseth going to drag down Donald Trump's favorability numbers or popularity numbers? Because that's what happened with the whole Doge of it all. How often, how much have you heard about Doge and Musk from Donald Trump in the last month? Not much. Now, if that continues with Pete Hegseth, how much do you think you're going to hear about Hegseth coming soon to a news report near you? Hegseth has taken some time to spend with his family. Some folks believe it's not going to happen because they think he's good for recruitment for the military, and that Donald Trump can't keep jettisoning people because they are a screw up. Trump has a man crush on Pete, says Tamara S. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I think Donald Trump is going to get sick of it and say, whoa. But the disturbing and the frightening thing is that they use it as an excuse, or even his own attorneys don't understand what was going on. His attorneys, who should be on top of it, who represent him, one of the most powerful people in the country, if not the world, they're saying, well, we got our information from this person secondhand. How is that okay? How is that okay? Why isn't this the breaking news, the top story, along with the grift that is the Trump administration? That I believe every single day. Good morning. Since we left you overnight from our live coverage, the Trump family has made this much money off of the presidency, has profited this much. And by the way, Pete Hegseth has done something else that shows how unqualified he is. Not, let's make excuses. Let's bring someone on to say, okay, this is okay. This is why I think it's fine. The plane from the Qataris, that's all fine. There is no equivalent. There is no false equivalence that makes this okay. That's what the coverage should be. It's all a grift. And Pete Hegseth is not qualified. So we have a private stream coming up with our members. So thank you. Welcome to all of our new members. Make sure you become a member, because if you are a member, depending on the tier of member you are, you get to take part in what? In these private streams or private chats that we're going to have right after this. And if you are here and you are a lemon, what is it? Which you have to be a lemon head, right?
Head or legend. Head or
lemon
legend.
head or legend. Then you get redirected automatically to the private stream. Okay? So, Sopa G, welcome to the Elimination. Thank you for joining. Also, Britt became a member today. Welcome to the Elimination, Britt. Debbie Navarro, because of Debbie's generosity, 5 people get to become members of the Elimination. Don, you, the crew, your guests, and the chat help keep me sane. I appreciate you all. Have learned so much while being a part of the Elimination. Thank you, Debbie. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity. Okay. Make sure you hit the subscribe link. It's right. It's free. Subscriptions are free. You can hit the subscribe link right below the Don Lemon Show logo or right near the Don Lemon Show logo at the bottom of your screen. Okay. So NASA and Space Force need to abolish before any social programs are cut. We have the people gotten from NASA after $2 trillion. What? Okay. Babe Rax, thank you for your generous support of independent media. We thank you so much for that. Welcome to the Elimination Ali. Okay, and all of our new members. Welcome, and we're so glad that you're here. Join us if you want to become a member. You get to get on the private stream or this private chat that we're going to have right after this. And you guys know what I say. It's important to support independent media because we're out here giving it to you straight, without the corporate influence, without the corporate overlord. Jane R., you are the woman. Jane, because of Jane's generosity, 5 people get to become members of Elimination. Jane, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hey, Don from Texas. Being saved. Thank you so much. Okay, so as I always say, Prunella, welcome to the Elimination. Thank you. So everyone, we'll see you on the private chat or the private stream where we really give you the tea. Okay? And that's going to happen right now because I always say when I end this, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.